Hi, this is a little bit serious today. I am on my way for my MRI, and I have to tell you, it's something I really haven't discussed before, but I have problems with claustrophobia. I'm sure it goes back to somewhere in my past, and there are a few incidents that certainly ring a bell, but I have this real issue with feeling trapped. So the thought of going into that tunnel and feeling trapped is having me hyperventilating, and I'm an hour or two away from the appointment. I know how important it is as a diagnostic test, and I know how much that information will shed light on whatever is going on with my body. So I'm going to do everything in my power to go through with it, but I'm terrified that I'm going to have a full-blown panic attack and have to have them get me out. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Say a little prayer for me that I make it all the way through this. Supposedly I'm going to be in one of the open bore units, which it's wide bore actually. It doesn't mean a thing in terms of being open, because I went to take a look at it, and instead of the 60 centimeter opening that the typical MRI machine has, this one has 70 centimeter. It's a difference of 4 inches, so 4 inches should not make a huge difference, I'm guessing. And I'm a little embarrassed to tell you about this, but I am nothing if not transparent. I am what I am, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If I don't let you see everything about who I am, I'm not honest, and I am honest. So I'm going to do everything in my power to stick it out. I'm going to try to do whatever I can to not get that panicky feeling. And just, well, by the time you see this, though, it'll all be over one way or the other. I either will have done it or I will not have. I made the big mistake of looking online and seeing all kinds of horror stories about people who needed to be taken out because it was such a terrible experience, and about those balls that they have you hold on to and squeeze if you need to talk to them or if you need to get out, that is available to you. But I've heard horror stories that it didn't work, and it was really not smart to look at all of that, but I did, as I tend to think we do whenever there is something we're concerned about. It's kind of like looking when you have a problem physically and the temptation is to go Google it. Well, not so smart. And I don't do that for diagnoses, but I really needed to do it for this because I don't want to be in a panic. So, if you're seeing this at all, I'm going to assume that I got through it, because if I don't get through it, I may not even put this up, because how embarrassing. I always think of when I was a little girl and somebody in the family saying, "Don't be a scaredy cat." I think it was my aunt. "Don't be a scaredy cat." I'm feeling a lot like a scaredy cat. Saying a little prayer, and I'm 2 hours away and I'm already hyperventilating. This is so not good. I'll see you later, hopefully. Okay, it is much, much later in the day, and I am back from my MRI appointment. I wanted to tell you, and I'm making this actually for all the people out there who have to deal with having claustrophobia and having to go for a test like an MRI. I feel as if I have learned so much about it since it was first scheduled, and there is a lot that I want to share with you. I'm going to first say, for anybody who needs to have an MRI done and suffers from claustrophobia, or doesn't even know that they suffer from claustrophobia, but ultimately have that experience when they're in an MRI, and there are many people who do. There are many different kinds of MRIs available now, and they had 2 different wide bore, which they sometimes refer to as an open type MRI. It's not an open MRI. An open MRI is one that it's like a bun, and the two parts are like this. It is joined on one side, but it's open quite a bit. The problem with that for me, and for a lot of people who are claustrophobic, is that it is still low and close to your head as you are slid into the machine, or close to your body, depending upon what you're having done. So there were two types available, both the wide bore in the facility that I use locally. I had gone into the place about a week earlier just to take a look at the machine to see if I thought that I could do it, and to have them walk me through the experience just a little bit. And they were just wonderful, wonderful people. So I have to say that at the outset. I made a huge mistake when I was doing this, and the mistake that I made was that I did a lot of research online. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I then I read a lot. I saw some horror stories where there were some people saying what a nightmare their experience with an MRI was, and I'm sure that it was. But what happens is it's like anything else. If you've ever taken a drug for anything, for high blood pressure, or if you have to take any kind of medication for cholesterol or anything else, or for your elevated sugar levels where you're on metformin or anything, there is always a segment of the population that's going to have a bad experience with it. And if you align yourself with that segment of the population, you're going to scare the hell out of yourself. How do I know that? Because I did it. I did it, and I got terrified. I was reading horror stories about it, and I'm not going to go into them because my goal here is not to scare anybody. My goal here is to make it better for any person out there who needs to go for the test and wants to be able to do it and survive it. My appointment was made for today. I was told that I was going in for the 3.0 Tesla, and that is, it's a wide bore machine, but what they did not tell me, the one I had seen previously was a 1.5. The 1.5, in addition to being wide bore, is short, so that the depth of the machine is considerably shorter than the 3.0. I did not know that. If I had known that, I never would have scheduled for the 3.0. Because my issue is being in that tunnel and feeling totally enclosed and entombed. So I would have known that that was going to be an issue for me. But having seen the other one, I thought that I could do it. When I got there and I filled out all the paperwork and I was waiting for them to take me in, and sure enough, they take me in. And the MRI in this particular place, it has that round cylinder that they have when they're not a totally open one. And the open one, again, is like the bun and you're the meat. When it is the round one, the other one, the 1.5 was light inside. The 3.0 had lights on top. I almost felt like it's like being in a subway station where there is a whole long row of lights, and it looked like LED lights. I got on the table for them to try to put me in because I had my appointment scheduled. They were very kind in the way that they did it, and I am very sorry that I didn't take the names of the girls in the first one that I went to because I just didn't think to do it at the time. They put me on the table without any of the cameras on me and without the setup, just to put me in there to see if I could deal with it. When they raised the table to the level that it has to be and then started to slide me in, the closer I got to it, the more I started to feel like I couldn't catch my breath and like I was being entombed. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I had them stop. I had a friend with me, and my friend said, "Do you want to see me go in to see what it's actually like?" And I said, "Okay, if you want to." She had them roll her in, and there was room around it, but not the kind of room I expected. It still felt very enclosed, very entombed, very, very claustrophobic for me. If you are less claustrophobic, or if you don't have that issue at all, it's not a problem. I learned a lot about it though because I've never had an MRI before, so I had no idea what to expect at all. When I finally said I cannot do it, and I felt devastated, I was upset with myself. I felt not ashamed of myself because I'm old enough now to understand that every one of us has things that we react badly to. This is my thing, or one of my things, one of my triggers. I spent 2 days after going through all of that stuff making myself crazy, absolutely crazy, because I was hyperventilating before I got there. I was thinking I'm going to have a panic attack. I need to work on my breathing. I need to do all of these things. And I said, oh my God. They finally said to me that the other machine was now available, the 1.5, and that I could try that one if I wanted to. And I said, yes, I wanted to, because I really wanted to have the test done today. I understand the value of it, the diagnostic value, and how much the doctor needed it to evaluate what's going on with my leg. So they did the same thing in there. They put me on the table. They raised it. The technologist in that room was incredibly wonderful. Her name was Kelly, and I thank her so much. She was able to slowly take me into the machine, and I said, do me a favor. I need to see how far in I have to go for the test I'm having. And she did that for me. She set it up, and sure enough, it took me into the point where I had to go. And I looked at it, and my head was just inside the machine. The other one, it was way inside because much longer machine. It was just inside, and I looked at it and I said, I think I can do this. She told me what to expect. She told me that it was a series of films, and you need to know this. If you're having it done, it's a series, so it's how many of these they need to take, and that will be dependent upon what you're having scanned, or what you're having, I don't know what they call it, because it's magnetic resonance imaging, and it is pictures that they take slices of you that the doctor then can get some really, really good information about you. So she set me up. She put the camera over my hip and that part of my leg so that it would know exactly where to take pictures. And she set me up. She put my legs together. She said, this is just so that you don't move. And I said, it's not so that I can't run. And she was really adorable. And she told me that it was going to be this series and that I could listen to music if I wanted to. Interestingly, I chose to listen to Dean Martin. Funny thing is, I was never a great Dean Martin fan when he was alive, but Dean Martin is what I listen to very often when I'm cleaning my house. There's something very relaxing about him, and it's a good way for me to go. I play Dean Martin's station when I'm grooming the dogs because it's a tedious process, and it just is very relaxing. So sure enough, they played that for me, and then you start to hear those rat-a-tat-tat sounds. She told me during the period of time that I am going to be in there that I should not move at all during each series, because if I moved, they would have to repeat the series. If I did not move, once they finished it, they would go on to the next series. I don't remember now, to be honest with you, whether there were 6 or 7 series in the one that I was in. Some were a little bit longer, some were a little bit shorter. The longest one I think was 3.5 minutes. So if you are having a series done where you can't move and you're in a space that gives you tension and you're frightened and you don't think that you can go through it, if you think in terms of 3.5 minutes, what I did was I thought in terms of the song. The song will play for 3.5 minutes. All I have to do is wait for the song to end. And it really helped so much, I cannot tell you. So again, I'm doing this because I'm hoping that I can give some information to somebody out there who is facing this and is terrified and thinks that they cannot do it. You can do it. The question is how you do it. The question is which solution is going to work for you. But believe me, if this girl can do it, you can do it too. If you have that kind of problem and you want to say anything in the comments below, please feel free to. I know that looking at other people and the things that they had to say was helpful to me. But do not do a lot of investigating. It's kind of like if you have some kind of physical problem and you Google it, you're going to find things that you think you have that are terrifying that you don't have. So try to make it easier for yourself. Check with the facility if you can, find out what the process is. But again, it is a series of shots that they're going to take, and each one is accompanied by different noises. Everybody kept talking about how loud the noises were and how terrible. They were not that terrible. And I asked them after the first series, I asked if they could please just turn up my music a little bit so I could hear the music over the rat-a-tat-tat kind of sound. And it was not bad at all. I got through it the second time with the 1.5 Tesla wide bore so easily and so comfortably in the end that I came very close to falling asleep. And if that is not a testament to how wonderful the people were and how helpful and how it can be not terrifying. So I'm telling you, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. And that's my story. In the end, I went to Zhuangha Pasiri. Everybody there was wonderful. The staff was wonderful. Everything was terrific. And the technologist that I had, Kelly, was unbelievable. I am definitely going to leave a review on their site because they deserve it. And Fran, who was there helping her, was equally wonderful. So I thank you both, and you definitely made it easier for me. Now all I have to do is wait and find out the results and pray to God that the results are good. So take care. Wanted to share this with you, and I will see you soon. Bye.